Аса маңызды мәлімдеме, аса маңызды хабарлама. Қытай компартиясына бүкіл әлем болып санкция салып жатқан осы сәтте, Қытай компартиясына салынып жатқан экономикалық құрсаулар мен қыспақтар көбейген осы тарихи сәтте, дәл қазір Қытай компартиясы көр аузында жанталасып жатқан соңғы тұяқ серпер сәтінде осындай бір тарихи орайда арызымызды әлемдік қауымдастыққа тағы да қарша боратып жіберейік. Айналайын қалың елім қазағым. Ендеше тіркелмеген нағыз атажұрт еріктілер ұйымының азаматтарына Қытайда құқы тапталған туыс-туғандарыңыз туралы, сотталып кеткен туыстарыңыз туралы, ізім-ғайым жоғалған туыстарыңыз туралы, немесе хабар ошарсыз кеткен туыстарыңыз туралы, ол жақтан Қазақстанға келе алмай, бұл жақтан бара алмай отырған 5 жылдан бері бір-бірлеріңіздің өлі тірілеріңізді біле алмай қиналып отырған осы басыңызда қиын жағдай туралы, немесе бір отбасы екіге айырылып қалған жағдайлар туралы, ол жақтағы экономикалық мал-мүлкіңізге, сіздің адамдық құқығыңызға жасалынып жатқан сұғанақтықтар туралы, тартып алынған жерлеріңіз, жайлау, қыстау, көктеу, күзеу, шаппалық, егістік жерлеріңіз туралы арыздарды қарша боратыңыз. Немесе Шыңжаң, Шығыс Түркістандағы жергілікті атқарушы билік тарапынан тартып алынған мал-мүлкілеріңіз туралы, жер, жеке меншік, тиесілі меншіктеріңіз туралы, немесе оның тиісті төленуге тиісті төлем ақыларын бермей, төлемей отырғандығы туралы, өзіңіздің жеке адамдық құқыңыздың тапталуы, немесе мал-мүлік құқыңыздың тапталуы, хат-хабар алысу құқыңыздың тапталуы, өзара барыс-келіс жасау құқыңыздың тапталуы, өзара ақпарат алу құқыңыздың тапталуы сияқты мәселелер бойынша арызды беріңіздер. Бұл арыздарыңызды ашық және құпия түрде беру өзіңіздің таңдауыңызда. Тіркелмеген нағыз атажұрт еріктілерінің азаматтармен хабарласып, бұдан бұрынғы арыз берген азаматтардың үлгісінде және солардан үйрене отырып, арыздарды қарша боратып қалайық. Дәл қазір Қытай компартиясы көр аузында жанталасуда, соңғы тұяқ серпер қалдыне келді. Бүкіл дүние жүзінен Қытай компартиясына жасалған қысым күннен күнге күшеюде. Осы орайда Қытайларға қарсы соңғы шабуылымызды жасап қалайық. Осы соңғы бірнеше күннің ішінде міне 4 медиаға шықтық. Біреусі әлемге әйгілі БІЗДІ сайтында сол өзіміздің айналайын қарагөз қазақтарымыз тарапынан қамдалған Қытайдағы лагерге айналдырылған докторханалар туралы ақпарат. Міне соны жазып, әлемге әйгілі БІЗДІ жарияладық. Міне жариялана сала бүкіл батыстың әлеуметтік желісінде үлкен зор дүмпу қозғап отыр. Бұған таңырқамаған ел қалмады. The Geography of Terror, a list of camps where ethnic Kazakhs are detained. Міне жаңағы террордың географиясы, этникалық қазақтар тұтқындалған түрмелердің тізімдігі деп бүкіл Шыңжаңдағы лагерге айналдырылған бұрынғы докторханалар, зауыттар туралы, немесе жаңадан салынған түрмелердің тізімдігін бердік. Осы тізімдікке қосылмай қалған тізімдіктер болатын болса, оны да беріңіздер. Міне бұл біздің бүкіл адамзаттық қауымдастыққа қосқан үлесіміз. Бізге осы қазақтар жасайтын солтүстік шығыс Түркістандағы барлық елді мекендердегі түрмелер, лагерлердің орны туралы, немесе докторханалар тұтасымен, немесе бір бөлігі фашист концлагерге айналдырылғандығы туралы, немесе қандай да бұрынғы ескі зауыттар мен ғимараттар, мектептердің осы лагерге айналдырылған туралы ақпараттарды берген. Бізге осындай ақпаратпен көмектескен азаматтарға рахметімізді айтамыз. Міне бұл БІЗДІ сайтында жарияланды. Ал күні кеше ғана әлемге әйгілі Radio Free Asia-де тағы үлкен маңызды ақпарат жарияланды. Ол кеше 29 наурызда бізден алған интервьюіне жауап бергенбіз. Онда тағы да осы Қытайдың фашист концлагері туралы Гонконгтың жаңағы медиаларында жарияланған, бүкіл адамзатқа жарияланған осы қылмысты әшкереледі. Қытай компартиясы өздерін ақтау үшін міне әлемдік медиада Шыңжаң мәселесі туралы арнайы баспасөз брифингін өткізді. Сол баспасөз брифингісіне қарама-қарсы түрде біз тағы да Қытайдың қылмысын ашып тастадық. Ол жерде менің берген сұхбатымда жарияланды. Қазақстандық адамдық құқық ұйымы, АТАЖұрт ұйымының жетекшісі СЕРІКЖАН АТАЖ радиосына берген сұхбатында Қытай компартиясы орталық үкіметінің Шыңжаң істері бойынша өткізген баспасөз мәслихаты бұл Қытай үкіметінің батыстың күннен күнге қатаңдасқан экономикалық санкцияларына байланысты естері кетіп, ақ пен қараны шатастырып, жаңа халық бүкіл адамзат қауымдастығы алдында өздерін ақтағысы келген арсыз қарекет деп интервью берген. Сол интервьюімді сол қалпында жариялапты. Мен тағы бүйтіп айтамын, біз соңғы жылдары 3 миллионнан артық қазақтар мен ұйғырлардың қамалғандығы туралы ақпаратты жариялап отырмыз. Бұл 3 миллион қазақтар мен ұйғырларды Қытай билігінің қамауы ол ешқашан терістеуге келмейтін темірдей факт. Соңғы 5 жылдың ішінде біз 30 мыңнан артық куәгерлер мен куә сөздерді жинадық. Қаншама видео арыздарды жаңағы жинадық. Бұл тұтас Шыңжаңның, яғни тұтас Шығыс Түркістанның үсті ашық түрмеге, үсті ашық концлагерге айналғандығын дәлелдейді. Бұндағы жыныстық зорлық, зомбылық, бұндағы қорлау, зорлау, адамдарды жаңағы қинау, адамдарды мәжбүрлеп қылмысын мойындауға көндіру, ішкі ағзалардың сатылуы, адамдардың мал мүлкін заңсыз тартып алу, қазақтардың жайылым жерлерін заңсыз тартып алу, тіпті қазақтарды басқалармен үйленуге мәжбүрлеу сияқты адамзатқа қарсы қылмыстар бұл жерде тұтасыменен жаңағы өмір сүріп отыр. Біздің жинаған осындай факттеріміздің алдында Қытай компартиясы қанша жерінен түлкішеше бұлаңдап өзін ақтаса да, олардың бүкіл адамзаттың алдындағы адамзатқа қарсы қылмысын ақтай алмайды деп сұхбат бердім. Тура сол қалпында жариялапты. Мен тағы да бүйтіп айтқанмын, халықаралық қауымдастық қол қусырып қарап тұрмай, тіпті де өнімді қарекеттерге барып, өздерінің нақтылы қарекеттеріменен геноцидке ұшырап, тұқымы жойылу қаупінде тұрған ұйғырлар мен қазақтарды құтқарып қалу керек деп үндеу тастағам. Сонымды қоса жариялапты. Бұл жерде тағы да осы Нағыз Атажұртқа үнемі арызданып берген Алтынай Арасанның күйеуі және Алтынай Арасанның суреті жарияланған. Бұл жерде жаңағы Қытайдың Іле-Қазақ автономиялы облысы Алтай аймағында, анық айтқанда Жеменей ауданында қамауда отырған, яғни былайша айтқанда тұтқында отырған Алтынай Арасанның күйеуі туралы ақпарат жарияланған. Бұл жерде айтып жібереді, Қазақстан азаматы Алтынай Арасан АТАЖ радиосына ақпарат беріп, күйеуі Ерболат Құсманның әлі де Алтай аймағындағы Абитан қалашығында қамауда екендігін, 17 жылдың 27 қазаннан бері оны аталмыш концлагерде 1 жылдан артық қамағандығын, ал қазір үй қамақта екендігін, бас азаттығы мен еркіндігі шектеуге ұшырағандығын, ал күйеуі мен әйелі қосыла алмай отырғандығын, ол Қытай үкіметінен күйеуін шартсыз түрде Қазақстанға жіберуін талап ететіндігі айтылған. Ал осы фактінің тура жаңағы Қытай компартиясының баспасөз мәслихатын өткізіп, Шыңжаңдағы мәселе туралы өзін-өзі ақтауына қарсы келуі міне үлкен факт. Сондықтан арыздарыңызды беріңіздер. Айтпақшы, мына Қытайдың тура осы қылмысын ашуда дәл осы ақталып жатқанда атақты DW, яғни Германияны үні радиосында тағы да сұхбатымыз жарияланды. Бұл Германия үні радиосындағы сұхбатымызды міне сілтемесін көре аласыздар. Ол да мына Қытайда бала шағасы қамалып қалған, отбасы қамалып қалған, анау 8 ақпаннан бері Қытайдың Қазақстан Алматыдағы консулдығы алдында ереуілдетіп отырған апалар, аталар, әпке қарындастар туралы, солар туралы сұхбат жарияланған. Бұнда да жаңағы олардың барысы, әрбір қиналғаны, бұл жерде тағы да сол суреттері қосып жарияланды. бір отбасынан 4 адам тұтқындалған. Оралбай әулетінің жаңағы адамдар, Ділшат Оралбай, Бақтыгүл Оралбай, Бағила Оралбай, осылар туралы көп ақпарат жазылды. Жалпы Қытай консулдығының алдындағы ереуіл, Қазақстан үкіметінің бұл мәселені шешудегі қауқарсыздығы, осының барлығы жарияланды. Ендеше орайдан пайдаланып, осының барлығын сіздер жаңағы арызды қарша боратып қалыңыздар. Мен бұл жерде қысқаша ақпаратты, мынау DW-дағы ақпарат былай, кілт сөз бойынша іздеп таба аласыздар. Шинжаң жарын шызың хасакырын яучу бейжің чумен жеші. Осылай іздесеңіздер, мына DW-дағы радиодағы ақпарат шыға келеді. Ал енді Radio Free-шідегі ақпарат, ол Чунго ла уизурын дыңчың рынчан өнті уевар дәбияу зурын бипо пиқы янчу. Анау жаңағы кешегі болған баспасөздегі жаңағы мәжбүрлі түрде сөйлеген адамдар туралы ақпарат, бұл жерде менің де интервьюім жарияланды. Ал енді үшінші ақпарат кеше KKNW-дағы жарияланған. Ол KKNW Американың радиосы, атақты радиосы Сиэтлдегі. Оған берген сұхбатымыздың аудио нұсқасын осы сіздерге сөйлеп отырған осы хабарламамыздың соңында аудио ағылшыншасын қоямыз. Ол да біздің осы істеген жұмыстарымыздың факт ретінде тарихта қалсын. Аудио нұсқасын енді ағылшынша білетіндер тыңдаңыздар. Осы қазақша сөзіміздің соңына соның аудиосын қоямыз. Жақсы, құрметпен СЕРІКЖАН Біләшұлы, арызымызды жалғастырайық. Тоқтамайық ешқашан. Қытай ешқашан жаңағы өзіне бағынған халықты аяған емес. Кім Қытайға қарсы тұрады, сол ғана жаны аман қалады. Қорқу өмірді ұзартпайды, күресу өмірді қысқартпайды, жағаласпай жан қалмайды. Үйіңде тығылып жатсаң да ажалдан қашып құтылмайсың. Керісінше қасқайып қарсы тұрып, Құдайдың алдында да өзіңнің кімдігіңді дәлелдейсің. Ендеше Қытайда қорлық көріп жатқан түбі бір түркі мұсылман бауырларымыздың, өзіміздің қарагөз қазақтарымыздың құқық мүддесі үшін әрбір қазақ арызданайық. Осығанға дейін күріштің арқасында күрмек болып су ішемін деген, бидайдың арқасында бидайық болып су ішемін деген, арызданған жұрттың арқасында менің де туысым босап қалама деп өзінше сасық қулықпен жүрген айналайын бауырларым болса, сендерге ескертейін, сасық қулықтарыңды қалталарыңа салып қойыңдар. Мынау дүние апалай топалай болғалы тұр. Арызданып туысыңның өлі түрісін біл, құқын қорға. Кем дегенде артында жоқтаушысы, іздеушісі болса, туысын қасапханаға кетпейді, бауыр бүйрегі сатылып кетпейді. Қасапханаға боршаланып, ішкі ағзалары, керек десең терісі, бас сүйегі, саусағының сүйегіне дейін сатылады. Бір адамнан $1 миллион жасап отыр Қытай компартиясы. Ендеше осының алдын алу үшін әрбір қазақ өзінің туысының, жақынның, құдасының, жегжатының, құдасының, жамағайының, руласының, тайпаласының, жерлесінің құқын қорғасын, өлі түрісін біліп арыз жазсын. Соны сіздерге арнайы ескертеміз. Құрметпен СЕРІКЖАН Біләшұлы, 2021 жылы 29 наурыз Америка құрама штаттарынан таңғы сағат 8:41-де сау болайық, аман болайық, сау болыңыздар. Құрметпен СЕРІКЖАН Біләшұлы, айналайын халқым, үнемі қарекетте болайық.
This is Radio Freedom.
Good evening, audience, voters, taxpayers, friends, Americans, and countrymen. In Seattle, Mercer Island, Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, and on the east side, and I-5 corridors, many local cities. Welcoming tonight's Matthew Melton's Democracy Show on AM 1150, featuring Liberal Democratic talk show host Matthew Melton, broadcasting live Sunday nights from the 425, with his inductive and often insightful reasoning skills, political commentary, and opinions on a wide range of American and international political topics, and some mainstream media topics which are not political in nature, but still in current media. I hope that you're happy to be listening to American Talk Radio at its finest, because I'm happy to be here as your host this evening. So get ready, and I'll be right back.
Whistling Jews, we're kissing baboons in the jungle. It's a knockout. If looks could kill, they probably will. In games without frontiers, war without tears.
Good evening, Puget Sound. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Tonight, We are Radio Liberty for the Puget Sound. Looks like without Dr. Churchill tonight, because he was out giving a speech in, I guess he was out on the peninsula, out near Bremerton, and I was not there. He has, however, announced his intentions of running for the Senate in 2022. For all of you Lincoln Party members and Republicans out there who are interested in hearing about that. So if you have heard a rumor that Dr. Churchill has decided to announce that he will be running for Patty Murray's seat as a challenger in 2022, you heard correctly. That's all true. And tonight, I will be bringing on Jane of Liberty, and we'll be interviewing some very, very high-profile people in the world of those who speak regarding the oppressed, and it's going to be all about another show about Chinese human rights, oppression in China, and I hope that you stay tuned. And when I come back from our first commercial break, I'll be introducing Jane Xiaohong Jin is my first guest, and then we have Mr. Serjuk Spalash, and he is a human rights leader, and he is focused on talking about the oppressed minorities in Chinese prison camps. If you have your pen ready, I would at this time like to give out our station numbers. Please write them down. Tonight's station numbers are 425-373-5527, and toll free in Western Washington, that's 888-298-5569. Please write down the station numbers. Please be a caller if you're interested. Give us a comment, ask questions. These are high-profile human rights leaders who we're bringing on right now, and if you're a member of the human rights community, if you know someone who's been oppressed, if you yourself have been oppressed, this show should be very interesting for you. Once again, here are the numbers: 425-373-5527. And toll free in Western Washington, that's 888-298-5569. Those are tonight's station numbers. A little bit later in the show, when I open the lines and ask for callers, please feel free to chime in. Right now, I'm going to go to commercial break, and when I come back, I'll be introducing Jane Xiaohong, and the woman who I call Jane of Liberty and Human Rights. So stay tuned, and we'll be back.
War without tears.
Hello, Alternative Talk Radio listeners. This is Matthew Melton, your host of Matthew Melton's Democracy Show, live here on Sunday nights on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. And I want to tell you about this great new app. It's called Sheerganic, and it's at the Apple App Store now. And I also have to tell you that you're going to love it. People out there are out of work right now, and it's prudent to be frugal in my opinion. So I'm going to lay it on the line. Why buy when you can rent? Also, do you want to make a few bucks or more? Maybe listing things that you own but don't use much, like mountain bikes, kayaks, motorcycles, hoverboards, and you name it. It can be a rental on Sheerganic.com. That's Sheerganic, now the #1 app to buy, sell, trade, rent, and rent out items. Download Sheerganic today in the Apple App Store, or go to Sheerganic.com. Also coming soon to Google Play Store. Sheerganic, 100% homegrown sharing. Think of finding a private rental on Sheerganic.com when you want to go powerboating and skiing one summer weekend. And that's just one example. Sheerganic, for everything you ever wanted to use and never wanted to have to buy. Or be entrepreneurial and rent out your unused stuff. Try Sheerganic. You're going to love it. Be safe and be well.
Hello, listeners of KKNW. That's 1150 on your AM dial, here on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. And did you want to know who is tops in home organizing and as a local cleaning service in Seattle? Try Seattle Home Organizing Wiz. That's Seattle Home Organizing Wiz at
430-0240, and you'll be impressed by the courteous and hardworking staff who want to take on all of your tough jobs, as well as one-time appointments and weekly and bi-monthly and monthly scheduled cleanings. Seattle Home Organizing Wiz also wants to organize your home and office. Call them at 206-430-0240. That's 206-430-0240. Seattle Home Organizing Wiz. That's all lowercase. And ask for Davina. Good evening, AM Talk listeners in Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, Greater East Side, and I-5 corridor. This is Matthew Melton of Matthew Melton's Democracy Show, here on Sunday nights at AM 1150. And do you need moving help right now? Well, if you do, call ALITCO.com. That's all lowercase, HAULITCO.com. That's right, ALITCO.com for your local moves, moving help, and also your small interior moves. Call ALITCO.com at 425-753-1743 for friendly, affordable moving service. Use our bags, save yours. But sometimes last-minute moves are okay. Just call and ask at 425-753-1743. That's ALITCO.com and ask for Dave. We're moving people to new places, so let's get moving.
Stay tuned, we're here. Get the lowdown and scope of national Politico with the boys here on Sunday nights. Tune in, listen live, and get informed where American intelligence has talent. My former regular guest is now my co-host. He's Dr. Pano Churchill, leading edge blog editor and Lincoln Party of Independence father. He's also a retired American intelligence unsung hero, and he'll be here to answer your questions and to fill you in on current political events and often the events of national and international politics that you seek those immediate answers for. Yes, we accept your calls here and give good answers, so listen live and be a caller. Please tune in Sunday nights, 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. or listen live from anywhere at 1150kknw.com and 1150 on your AM dial, where we want to be your favorite choice in Politico and live alternative talk radio, and be a caller because we want to hear you live on Sunday nights. I'm Matthew Melton, your host, along with my all-new co-host, Dr. Pano Churchill, and we are Matthew Melton's Democracy Show. Check out my all-new show format, where I've added some real intel to my show. And stay tuned, we're here.
Make it a great day. Keep your dial on Alternative Talk 1150.
Whistling tunes, we're kissing baboons in the jungle. It's a knockout. If looks could kill, they probably will. In games without frontiers, war without tears.
Good evening, and thank you for staying tuned this evening. I'm Matthew Melton, and tonight's episode of Radio Freedom for the Puget Sound will be another interview with Mr. SERIKŽAN, and he is a human rights leader whose work focuses on the prison camps of Xinjiang prison in China. But first, we're going to hear from my regular guest. She is the one who I call Jane of Liberty and Human Rights, Jane Xiaohong Jin.
Hi.
Jane.
Thank you.
Jane, please
Matthew.
join the conversation.
Thank you very much,
Jane, good evening.
Mr.
Yes.
Matthew Melton. Yeah, we basically heard last time from Mr. Blash about what happened in Xinjiang. There are a lot of human rights violations. The Chinese CCP regime treat all the minority there, like Uyghurs, Tatar, Tajik, and Kazakhstan people, and Hui, and all the people there were treated inhumanely, and they were forced to do some labors. They were forced to marry some old people not belongs to their group, but they don't want to. But things like that happen daily there. And our friend, who is our very valuable guest, recently escaped from Xinjiang, who is the leader of a human rights organization founder. And
let me one word. Hello?
Working on the Xinjiang Uyghur and Tatar, Tajik, and all those minority people who were thrown into the prison camp. And his work is focusing on this field. And recently, we also have heard and seen some demonstrations all over the world, in the U.S., in the UK, and some other areas, supporting Xinjiang minority people. And they were treated so inhumanely. And we call for the sanction on the CCP regime. And we want to stop award the 2022 Olympic game to this CCP regime. So we call for stop award to the CCP regime to host that event. And we hope all the people can join us and sign the petition and to send it to the Olympic game. And we want to the game to host anywhere else, but not in the CCP-controlled China, where human rights is totally ignored, and they treated minority people, especially Xinjiang area and also other minority area like Tibet, like a Hui minority area, and also Dai minority and other minorities in the mountain areas. Basically, they do not only treat Han people unfairly and inhumanely and unjustly, and they treat a minority even worse. So now we would like to invite our honorable guest, Mr. Blash, to our program. Mr. Blash, please.
Hello.
Welcome, Mr. Blash.
Hello. Let me say first hello, and second words, I have to correct some misunderstanding and misinformation about my introduce. I'm not an escaper from Xinjiang. I'm not an escaper. I'm the founder of the human rights organization called the ATAJURT Kazakh Human Rights Advocacy Group based in Kazakhstan. I'm the leader of that human rights organization. And I'm born at China. I'm born at Xinjiang. And I got the passport legally, and I crossed the border legally, and I get Kazakhstan citizenship legally 20 years ago. But after the 2016, after the re-education camps began in Xinjiang, and the millions of ethnic minorities like Kazakhs, Kyrgyzs, and Uyghurs arrested by CCP regime in Xinjiang, I began to work on the human rights issue. Before it, I'm a businessman, and I'm a succeeded businessman. And so let me introduce myself. I'm not an escaper of Xinjiang. And I saved a lot of escapers from Xinjiang, like Mrs. Sayragul Southby, Mrs. Kaisha Akan, and Murager Alam, and the Kaster Musakhan Ula, Murager Alam Ula, and the Tilek Tabarak, and Bagashar Malik. These 6 Kazakhs, they escaped from Xinjiang to Kazakhstan illegally, and now they are, except Mrs. Sayragul Southby, all of them living in Kazakhstan. And Sayragul Southby already got Sweden asylum, Sweden refugee status. So my team and me, we collected more than 30,000 facts about the re-education campus in Xinjiang, China. And we are the first team. Let's the world know what happened in Xinjiang, China. It's a real genocide. And everybody knows the first largest population in Xinjiang is Uyghur people. And the second largest ethnic minority is Kazakh. Kazakh is my nation. I'm a Kazakh. And I can speak Kazakh, and I can speak Uyghur language, and also I can speak Chinese. So from the 2017, we began to recorded the video testimonies with all Kazakhs, and because of the Kazakhstan, after the Soviet Union collapsed, after Kazakhstan get independent from Soviet Union, the more and more Xinjiang Kazakhs, the ethnic Xinjiang Kazakhs, they went to immigrate from Xinjiang to Kazakhstan. And now in Kazakhstan, until now, they are living around 500,000 ethnic Kazakhs who born at Xinjiang and immigrated from Xinjiang to Kazakhstan. And all these Kazakhs, 500,000 Kazakhs, all of them have family members, loved ones, arrested by Chinese regime and put them to so-called re-education center. And I call my people, visit our office and give us the facts about the disappeared relatives or loved ones. So our work is begun from this, and there are a lot of things happened in our team. The government didn't allow us to get the legal registration, and they fined us non-stoply opening the administrative courts, said our all activities is illegal and destroying the friendship between Kazakhstan and China. And also after them, they threatened us and they kick off us from our office, and they didn't allow the owners, they never give us the office, lend us the office. So we have a lot of difficulties because we fight in one time in two front lines. The first front line we fight with Chinese. Second front line we fight with the Kazakhstan local government, correctly say Kazakhstan National Securities. And also in 2019 they arrested me, and after 6 months they released me at the court, but they sentenced me for 7 years. I was forced to sign the one plea bargain, and after them they forced to let me stop my activity for 7 years. But after my probation time finished at the end of the 2019, at the first day 2020, I began to work again. And at the 2020, they also accused me 2 criminal cases and 1 administrative case, and all of my team members, 1 criminal case was accused and 1 administrative case was accused. So it is too hard to us to continue our work at Kazakhstan. So we have to escape from Kazakhstan now. We arrived in America 2 months ago, and that's all. But we collected the first-hand facts, the first big volume facts, the breaking news facts about the education campus, and my team shows the world what happened really inside the camp: the sex, slavery, the rape, and so many things against humanity, anti-humanity. It is all which we did, which I did, which my team members did the last 5 years.
And I heard, Mr. Blash, you have interviewed thousands of people who were in the prison camp. You must have heard a lot of inhuman treatment and how the CCP genocide in Xinjiang. And so I extremely feel sad for those girls who are kept in the prison camp, and they were treated very inhumanely in all different aspects. Especially, they got sexual harassment and forced labor, as well as forced marriage. And would you please let us know something like how they treated the Uyghurs or Tatar, Tajik, and
Tatar is not main people in Xinjiang. The first ethnic minority is Uyghur. Second ethnic minority is Kazakh. And the Tatar, Uzbek, and other minorities. It's a very, very small population. So and about that woman, we saved the 3 women. The first woman called Mrs. Sayragul Saotbay. She escaped from Xinjiang and crossed the border illegally, and she was stayed at Kazakhstan very in dangerous situation after the Kazakhstan National Security arrested her. The next day, her brother-in-law visited me, and I recorded the first video testimony about Mrs. Sayragul, and I let the world know why the Kazakhstan National Security arrested her. The first thing, Kazakhstan National Security went to arrest her and deport her to China illegally without any loyal process. And because the National Security arrested her and didn't send her to the police office or any kind of national security office, just arrested her and kept her in one of the common village house, in one of the village house with cows, with sheep, and it meant the Kazakhstan National Security went to deport her. Very unofficially deport her to China. It is the idea of Chinese side, we believe it. And after then, the next day, we published this news all over the world, all the social media in English and other European languages. We translated this first video testimony about the first woman crossed the border illegally, the first escaper from Xinjiang to Kazakhstan, and all world knew about her. And after then, one of the English reporter who stayed at Kazakhstan, his name is Chris Rickert, and he wrote about her. And after then, all world know about her. And after then, so long time passed non-stoply, around 50 times of court. At least she get the refugee status from Sweden and immigrated to Sweden. And now she stayed at Sweden. And she told about sex rape inside the camps. Everything is not secret. After she arrived in Sweden, she wrote one book, and co-writer is one of the German journalists called Alexandra Cavalios, and Alexandra Cavalios wrote this book with Mrs. Sayragul Saotbay and told the world about the sex rape and the anti-humanity things happened inside the camps. And the next woman is called Gulzira Awel Khan. She is a really former detainee. She is a really former detainee. She stayed inside the camp, and she already immigrated from China to Kazakhstan 2014. But while she heard that her father get ill and her father's life in danger, and she went to visit her father last time, while she visited back China, Chinese officials arrested her without any loyal process and put her to so-called education camps, and she stayed at camps 18 months, more than 18 months. After that, she released from camps, and she was forced to sign one agreement, and the Chinese officials put her to forced labor factory, and she is the first person who told about rape against women, against their will. And she's the first person who told about forced the black factories who using the forced laborers. And this factory's name is Jafang and Joan. The first time reported by Radio Free Asia at December 2018. After then, the American American Custom and the Border Protected let the Jafang and the Joan fabric list, the blacklist, and they confiscated the products made by the Jafang. And all these things was rape and sex labor and the forced labor told by the Mrs. Gulzira Awel Khan. And the third woman also, she is a Uyghur woman called Tursunay Ziyaudin, but her husband is Kazakh and the Kazakhstan citizen. Both of them, they married in China and they immigrated from China to Kazakhstan. Her husband already got Kazakhstan citizenship. After Tursunay Ziyaudin, the Uyghur woman, the wife of one Kazakh citizen, she was arrested by Chinese regime and put so-called education camps. After then, this Kazakh husband visited me, visited our community, visited our human rights advocacy group, and we reported about her history. The family destroyed by CCP, the family separated by CCP to two countries, and all the story is reported. After then, Chinese officers have to release her, and after then, non-stoply make a pressure, give a pressure to her. After then, her husband non-stoply visited us. We non-stoply published their history. After then, Chinese officers no choice have to send her back to Kazakhstan. After that, this woman, Tursunay Zeldin, told to the BBC about sex rape, about sex slave inside the camps to the BBC, and also this lady, Kazakh lady, Gulzira Khan. And all these three women is saved by my team, saved by our team, ATAJURT, Kazakh Human Rights Organization. And we are the first team. Let's world know what happened in Xinjiang, China. It is a genocide. We collected more than 30,000 facts, 30,000 video testimonies the last 5 years. The former detainees, thousands of former detainees, thousands of the separated families, and all these Kazakhs who born at China and immigrated to Kazakhstan, all of them, they lost their loved ones, family members, and all video testimonies show that this is not so-called re-education center. It is a concentration camp. It is just like the Nazi fascism camps happened in the World War II against the Jewish people. It is very similar, maybe worse than the World War II in that time. It is a genocide. It is a genocide to the Uyghur people. It is a genocide to the Kazakh people. The two largest ethnic minority in Xinjiang, China. It is called the ethnic minority by CCP. Back this territory, Xinjiang, the North Xinjiang and the South Xinjiang, it belongs to Uyghurs and the Kazakhs. The Kazakhs, they are nomadic people. They are living in the North Xinjiang between the Tianshan Mountain and Altai Mountain. And they are nomadic Kazakh people living in the nomadic lifestyle until now. And the Uyghur people, they are living between the Kunlun Mountain and the Tianshan Mountain around the Tarim, around the Talimu Bastin. And these people, they are agricultural people. They living in this land from the thousands of years ago until the Chinese Communist Party occupied the Xinjiang. And these people, why the Chinese regime arrested the millions of Uyghurs and the Kazakhs? Just because they are not Han Chinese.
Yeah, I think the CCP regime is totally violated human rights in all different aspects. From the language, they try to push for all the minority people give up on their education, about their history, about their language, about their family background, and so on, and just separated the children from their parents and grandparents, made them, two generation people cannot even communicate very well. And when I was in Germany, joined one of the events when I was listening to Xinjiang people talk about their sadness, it's not for just torture you. It's to torture you from your heart, from your family, from your background, from your language, from your history. And this is very, very inhuman. It's totally genocide. And
it is the Chinese regime not beginning it only the 2017. Everybody know after the Cultural Revolution continued the 10 years from the 1968 and finished the 1978. And the 10 years Cultural Revolution, there are millions of Han Chinese people themselves killed by CCP regime. And the 1989, and at Tiananmen Square, 10,000 of Chinese students killed by CCP regime. And after then, the Falun Gong, 2000 years, millions of Falun Gong members arrested and killed by the CCP regime. It has just happened 21 years ago. And after then, the Tibet people, while the Xinjiang, the CCP secretary controlled the Tibet region, and he killed millions of Tibet people. And all over the world know about it. But after then, Xi Jinping sent this killer, Xinjiang, to Xinjiang, and he began to rule the Xinjiang region from the 2017, and he began to kill the Uyghurs and the Kazakhs. And it means that all this genocide, anti-humanity killing is planned by CCP regime one by one. The Cultural Revolution finished after 11 years, after 10 years, the Tiananmen massacre began. After Tiananmen, the Falun Gong genocide began. After Falun Gong, the Tibet genocide began. After Tibet, the Xinjiang, the Uyghur genocide and the Kazakh genocide began. Everything is one by one, step by step, and everything is planned by CCP.
Yes, they, other than what we already mentioned, also I wanted people to know minority Hui is also genocide by the CCP regime. And it was happened during the Cultural Revolution and before and after. And so all the people who are believing in whichever religion group, you know, they cannot pray. They cannot say what they want to say.
Yeah.
And they cannot do what they want to do. The CCP regime forced one of the minority Hui people, which is, you know, they also belong to kind of a Muslim society, and they refused to raise pigs ordered by the CCP regime. And then they built up the defensive wall and so on. And so the CCP regime just simply sent formal military, went there and wiped out the entire village. And one businessman happened to going back to do business and then found out the entire village people were gone. And the CCP regime is just a very evil regime. And we must let people to know in the world, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party regime, is the root of all evils.
Yeah.
So we should never have a expectation for their, quote, reform or change to be better or smiling at you or even as necessary, they can say, oh, sorry. We cannot take any of those CCP lie anymore. And they lied from beginning when they established it. They lied all the way. This is over 70 years of CCP history. We should pay attention to the history, how they negotiated with the Kuomintang in Taiwan. And each time they negotiate with you, they want to drag you to the ditch. So do not trapped by CCP regime's strategy and to attack you. I said last time they want to use the business and money as some kind of carrot and lead you to go their own way. Just like when they do business with American or other Western world business companies, they know what you want, and then they will use that to attack you, to make you to sell the technology to them. They make you to do what you don't want to do. Otherwise, they said they are going to sanction you. So we must all stand up together jointly against this evil regime. we cannot stand for we cannot allow them to push us around anymore. We must jointly fight against the CCP till its end its fascism regime. And so I call the world to against the CCP. Do not have any hope on them. The only way the world will be really have a peace and a humanity, human rights and a freedom is end the CCP. This is the only way we can do, because the CCP will never give up their ambitions to conquer the whole world. We should pay attention to their lie. When they shake hands with you, smile at you, they are doing something behind you, is hurting you. And we must remember the history. And CCP, it depends on the lie. It depends on their purchase you or corrupt you to use you, and then get what they want. So we must call the whole world, especially the United States government, to tear down the CCP and tear down the communication wall. We want to against and take down the firewall. And people in Xinjiang or any other area, if there is a demonstration going on, the CCP simply just cut off all the communication, and then they arrest you, beat you up, and doing all kinds of human rights violation, and beat people to death, and arrest the people, and some people just simply disappeared. This is really, really make people mad, and we should all know the CCP cannot be with us if we want to have a peace, if we want to have a human rights, if we want to have a freedom.
Right. Excellent.
Jane, Mr. Blash, thank you. Thank you for spelling that out to the American public in a very meaningful way this evening. I would like to, there's not a lot of time left in this evening's broadcast, but I'd like to put out the station numbers if you're willing to take one or two callers and answer some questions. So at this time, if you're out there in the listening audience and you have questions about anything that was discussed in tonight's show for Mr. Balash or Jane, here are the station numbers. Feel free to chime in right now until I'll give the 5-minute warning before the end of the show. Here they are: 425-373-5527 and 888-298-5569. That's 425-373-5527 and 888-298-5569. And tonight, if you've been listening, we're interviewing Mr. SERIKŽAN Blash, and he is a human rights leader, and his focus is on the Xinjiang prison camps in mainland China and the oppression of the Uyghur people and Kazakh people and many other minorities of that region. So Mr. Blash, I understand that you have many videotape documentaries of persons of former prisoners who have given their video testimony of their torture and of crimes and atrocities that they have witnessed in these mainland China prison camps. Are you able to put any of those onto a website, potentially to give Americans some video reference to help them make a decision as to whether they should ask their representative to boycott the Olympic Games in Red China? I guess it's in 2020. What year is it? What year is that Olympic Games?
I think it's
Jane?
2024, right?
Yeah, we recorded this video, and all this video, all the video testimonies, around more than 30,000 video testimonies, we classified to different degrees. The first is open. The people, they are brave and they don't afraid of CCP regime and they don't afraid any national security of Kazakhstan. And you know the Kazakhstan, the government is very more and more closer to Beijing and now becoming the new Chinese province. And the Kazakhstan already lost their independence until it is almost lost their independence. And the second class, the second degree video testimony is private, and it is a secret video testimony. And the video testimony, they agreed to record the video, and but we also agreed with them never publish this video testimony, just to show the video testimony to the researchers and the politicians, but never publish on the social media or any kind of media. And all these video testimonies now kept by in our hard disk drivers, and the open, the public video testimonies we already published in our social media, especially the ATAJURT Kazakh Human Rights YouTube and the Facebook account. And the secret video testimonies we now kept with us, and we just want to share this video to all over the world. Any kind of politicians, especially the Western democracy countries, include America, Canada, and the European Parliament. And 1 year ago, we already give all the video testimonies to the European Parliament. And now I kept also the last version of video testimonies in our organization. So it is a big bomb. It's the big bomb to the CCP, and we kept this bomb. And now, until now, the public video testimonies already published, the reported by all over the world, the BBC, CNN, and all the big media in the world, Radio Free Asia, all the media reported non-stoply. And thousands of reporters visited our office, back in Almaty and Kazakhstan. So we just kept that secret video testimonies, the sex slave and the unknown chemical and the medical testimonies, unknown medicine of the forcing to eat, and unknown injections, and unknown the blood testimonies, blood testing, and because inside the camp and outside the camp, the CCP regime non-stoply get blood from the prisoners or from the ethnic minorities. And the blood volume is not small. It is around 400 milligram and around 500 milligram every time. And it means Chinese regime already planned the ethnic cleansing, already planned the ethnic genocide, and include the coronavirus. Maybe it is one of the medical experiments made to the Uyghurs and the Kazakhs. We believe it because the Chinese virusology, the Chinese medical technology is now the very, very developed. Why is it developed the medical technology? Because of the Falun Gong members. 5 million Falun Gong members killed by CCP regime. The organ harvesting, the organ planting is very developed in China. And the organs, the kidneys, the lung is very cheap in China. And everybody know about it. And the worldwide, the famous, the researchers like Ethan, everybody know about the Falun Gong members, the organ harvesting. And I believe that until now, only 1 or 2% of the Kazakhs is bravely stand up and give us the video testimonies. Until now, 98% or 99% of Kazakhs who cross the border and live from Xinjiang, live from China to Kazakhstan, because of the pressure of Kazakhstan national security, because of the threat made by the overseas Chinese organizations located at Kazakhstan, and all these people, they choose to keep silent. It's a Western country involved in this, and talk peacefully with the Kazakhstan regime, Kazakhstan government, and let the Kazakhs tell, and let them stand up, and tell what happened inside the camps while they were arrested by the CCP regime. And I think it will be the next big bomb to the world, more and more clearly understanding the CCP's the true face. Because from the 100 years ago,
Hey,
1921,
one minute,
while
1 minute.
The CCP, okay.
Yes,
Mr.
we need a
Blash
sanction on
and
China
Jane.
for the 2022 Olympic game, and we call for the United States government and the whole world sanction on China and make a Chinese regime to open the internet wall, take down the internet wall, and let people know the truth, let the Chinese people hear the truth, and free speech for all the Chinese people and minority people.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Mr. Blash. That's the end of our show this evening. Mr. Blash, Carpe Diem, El Dia Presso Liber. We'll have you back to join the show once again, and we'll be working on a website where people can find those videos of testimonies of those who were oppressed in China and who are able to make videos, and hopefully we'll get some pictures soon, and I'll be able to advertise that on a future show. Jane, thank you for joining our show again this evening. Esteemed guest, Mr. Blash, abundant
Thank you very
thanks.
much.
That's the end of our show
May
this
I
evening.
let people
Thank you
know?
for tuning in. Go ahead.
Let people know our website, www.freeourchina.com. Please visit us.
Okay, I hope everyone heard that. www.freeourchina.com. That's the end of this evening's episode of Radio Freedom for the Puget Sound. And please tune in next Sunday at 6 p.m. for another exciting episode. We'll have all new guests, and we'll be talking more on our human rights series. So tune in next weekend. Thank you, and that's a wrap.
This is Radio Freedom.
Thank you to all of my new and loyal listeners. I hope that you enjoyed this evening's show, and I hope that you, Mom and Dad, down in sunny Florida are able to listen in tonight on the KKNW webpage, live stream at 1150 KKNW.com too. Matthew Melton's Democracy Show is a self-funded AM talk show, and I provide my own political commentary and opinion from my liberal democratic bent on many of today's biggest stories in major media and other stories that I think are of value. My show is a new show, and I need sponsors, so presently I'm trying the venues of what is known as crowdfunding and what I'm also calling self-funding, my own self-funding. So, if you care to donate to my show, please write this down. I'm Matthew Melton on GoFundMe.com and Kickstarter.com. And I'm Matthew, that's capital M-A-T-T-H-E-W, dash Melton, capital M, then E-L-T-O-N, dash 3 on Venmo if you use Venmo. I also use Zelle, but you have to email me for that information. If you have any questions, please hit me up on Instagram, where I am Matthew, capital M, and then A-T-T-H-E-W, and there's a space, and then capital M, and then E-L-T-O-N, K-K-N-W, host, and my email is Matthew Melton's Democracy Show at gmail.com. If you can't remember any of this, you can email me, please. It's Matthew Melton's Democracy Show at gmail.com. Then my YouTube is Matthew Melton's Democracy Show on YouTube. Please look forward to future installments of my new Crisis Relief Valve chat room for a few jokes, and I'll be trying to live stream online, doing chat on Instagram now after each show. So look me up on Instagram following tonight's show if you're interested. I'm new to live streaming. Be prepared for that. Stay well. And I hope that you tune in next week for another great show. Be safe and have a good evening.
War without tears.
Hello, Alternative Talk Radio listeners. This is Matthew Melton, your host of Matthew Melton's Democracy Show, live here on Sunday nights on 1150 AM KKNW. And I want to tell you about this great new app. It's called Sheerganic, and it's at the Apple App Store now. And I also have to tell you that you're going to love it. People out there are out of work right now, and it's prudent to be frugal in my opinion. So I'm going to lay it on the line. Why buy when you can rent? Also, do you want to make a few bucks or more? Maybe listing things that you own but don't use much, like mountain bikes, kayaks, motorcycles, hoverboards, and you name it. and can be a rental on ShareGanic.com. That's ShareGanic, now the #1 app to buy, sell, trade, rent, and rent out items. Download ShareGanic today in the Apple App Store or go to ShareGanic.com. Also coming soon to Google Play Store. ShareGanic, 100% homegrown sharing. Think of finding a private rental on ShareGanic.com when you want to go powerboating and skiing one summer weekend. And that's just one example. ShareGanic, for everything you ever wanted to use and never wanted to have to buy. Or be entrepreneurial and rent out your unused stuff. Try ShareGanic. You're going to love it. Be safe and be well.
Hello, listeners of KKNW, that's 1150 on your AM dial, here on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. And did you want to know who is tops in home organizing and as a local cleaning service in Seattle? Try Seattle Home Organizing Whiz. That's Seattle Home Organizing Whiz at 206-430-0240, and you'll be impressed by the courteous and hardworking staff who want to take on all of your tough jobs, as well as one-time appointments and weekly and bi-monthly and monthly scheduled cleanings. Seattle Home Organizing Whiz also wants to organize your home and office. Call them at 206-430-0240. That's 206-430-0240. Seattle Home Organizing Whiz. That's all lowercase, and ask for Denina. Good evening, AM Talk listeners in Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, Greater East Side, and I-5 corridor. This is Matthew Melton of Matthew Melton's Democracy Show, here on Sunday nights at AM 1150. And do you need moving help right now? Well, if you do, call ALITCO.com. That's all lowercase, HAULITCO.com. That's right, ALITCO.com for your local moves, moving help, and also your small interior moves. Call ALITCO.com at 425-753-1743 for friendly, affordable moving service. Use our backs, save yours. But sometimes last-minute moves are okay. Just call and ask at 425-753-1743. That's ALITCO.com, and ask for Dave. We're moving people to new places, so let's get moving.
Stay tuned, we're here. Get the lowdown and scope of national Politico with the boys here on Sunday nights. Tune in, listen live, and get informed where American intelligence has talent. My former regular guest is now my co-host. He's Dr. Pano Churchill, Bleeding Edge blog editor and Lincoln Party of Independence father. He's also a retired American intelligence unsung hero, and he'll be here to answer your questions and to fill you in on current political events and often the events of national and international politics that you seek those immediate answers for. Yes, we accept your calls here and give good answers, so listen live and be a caller. Please tune in Sunday nights at 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. or listen live from anywhere at 1150kknw.com and 1150 on your AM dial, where we want to be your favorite choice in Politico and live alternative talk radio, and be a caller because we want to hear you live on Sunday nights. I'm Matthew Melton, your host, along with my all-new co-host, Dr. Pano Churchill, and we are Matthew Melton's Democracy Show. Check out my all-new show format, where I've added some real intel to my show. And stay tuned, we're here.
Make it a great day. Keep your dial on Alternative Talk 1150.
新疆维吾尔自治区政府发言人徐桂香针对各国日前就新疆人权问题制裁中国，反咬这些西方国家迫害人权的历史。
欧盟、美国、英国、加拿大这些国家对自己犯下的罪行闭口不谈，反而称新疆实施种族灭绝，简直是厚颜无耻。
徐桂香称这些国家是合伙借涉疆问题搞政治操弄，遏制中国。
中情局想破坏中国的稳定，认为最好的办法是制造中国动荡，利用维吾尔人不断刺激北京，这样就无需外力，便可从内部搞垮中国。
对此，世界维吾尔代表大会发言人迪里夏提29号接受自由亚洲电台采访指出，
中国指控西方国家历史性的问题，企图来漂白自己呢，那恰恰又说明了中国它本身它就在推行这个种族灭绝。你在辩解，你当年能做，为什么我现在不能做？无形当中呢，中 中国都在向国际社会暴露，他的确在当地所推行的一些种族灭绝。
新闻发布会安排了自称新疆棉纺工人，名叫阿丽米热的女子现身说法，称与公司签劳动合同，工作环境有沙发、有空调、洗衣室、有网路、清真食堂，挺不错的。阿丽米热反驳遭到强迫劳动的指控说，
境外的那些人从来没有来过我们的公司，根本不了解我们的真实情况，他们说的这些话都是瞎编的，他们就这样做，就是想砸掉我们的饭碗，毁掉我们的幸福生活，让我们没活干、没饭吃。他们的这种谣言非常的可耻可恨。
不过，彭博社记者提问与会新疆在教育中心的学员。
You know, when you were in a camp, as you said, working, did you make any money? And how were you paid? Were you paid in cash or?
学员的问题，请问您在校园里挣钱吗？如果挣钱的话，是现金支付还是其他的方式？
该名学员则说：“
我们教培中心主要是在学习，没有什么挣钱或者工作的事情。”
徐桂香还补充说，
做出来的这些呢，主要是练技术，也不存在外卖的问题，所以呢，也不存在涨工挣工资的问题，是这个情况吧？是吧？对啊。
世界维吾尔代表大会发言人迪里夏提告诉自由亚洲电台，记者会上所谓的棉纺工人证人是被迫配合宣传的演员。
这是一场有计划、有目的的呢。对外欺骗的这么一个大的一个政治作秀的一个舞台，这些所谓的证人，这些都是中国政府呢刻意安排的。我确信这些所谓的这些证人呢，如果没有任何的压力，他们不会充当中国政府的这个对外宣传的政治宣传工具。而强迫维吾尔人充当廉价劳役，在当地是普遍的一个现象。那么怎么就突然就出现了自愿的这个说法？如果是自愿的，那么为什么那么多的人被强制送到这个廉价劳役的这些企业，而且进行这个军事性的这个管制？这是个无可推卸、无可否认的一个事实。
哈萨克斯坦人权机构阿塔朱尔特志愿者组织创办人塞米克坚告诉自由亚洲电台，中共中央政府新疆记者会的召开是中国政府面对西方国家越来越严格的制裁，手忙脚乱、颠倒是非的无耻行为。塞米克坚强调，
他们非法关押了300万哈萨克人、维吾尔人是不可否认的事实。我们5年以来搜集了3万多真人证词，录制了3万多个证词视频。整个新疆已经变成露天集中营，性侵、虐待、酷刑逼供、人体器官买卖、非法剥夺他人财物、非法占用哈萨克牧民草原、逼婚几乎普遍存在。新疆正在发生的是种族灭绝的灾难。
萨尔克坚呼吁国际社会用更实际的行动拯救面临被种族灭绝的哈萨克人和维吾尔人。在中方急于撇清新疆迫害人权议题的同时，另有哈萨克斯坦公民阿里特纳伊阿拉山向自由亚洲电台爆料指出，她的丈夫叶尔坡拉提胡斯曼住在中国新疆阿勒泰市阿韦谭镇，2017年10月27号被公安关押在教育中心1年，到现在还被监禁在家中，没有任何权利和自由。中国政府也禁止她丈夫前往哈萨克斯坦。中国政府以虚假罪名非法拘留她的丈夫，但是她丈夫从未参加过非法的宗教活动，恳求西方国家和人权组织帮助她早日和她的丈夫团聚。自由亚洲电台记者夏小华台北报道。